All right, hey there, how's it going? Good morning. It's a Friday morning for me, and we are going to today finally put together a few of the completed pieces for this zero gravity judge that we've been working on. And actually, let me switch over here. Before we put together a few pieces, I do have like a couple of things that I need to clean up here. So these parts here on my desk, I've been working on, you haven't seen these yet, right? This color. So this is the pearl white that I've painted that's gonna be the outline, or the outline, I'm thinking of panel lining, the outer armor of most of the kit. And it has a nice like silvery hue to it under the lighting here. It looks more white in just like plain white, but with a pearl type finish in real life, but the lighting is causing it to look a bit silver and a bit purplish actually, which is nice. So I have these parts out here because I had been, there's not a lot of panel lining to do on these parts. I think we've talked about that before. A lot of the pieces, like this one for example, are just a lot of angles, but not really any like specific, obvious, definite panel lines. So those I'm just letting the angular structure of the parts kind of speak for themselves. With the pearl finish paint, I think it'll look really nice. But there are a few parts like this one here that had some obvious lines that I decided to go ahead and line. And I also dropped some panel line fluid in some of these little cavities. They need to be cleaned up still a little bit, and they're not completely done drying. So I'm going to be careful as we assemble and not touch those and smear them, and I can always clean them up afterwards once I get everything together. And there's a few other little things that I need to touch up with some hand painting of some enamels and stuff, but all of those things I can do after assembly. And so since we talked about in the last stream that we wanted to start assembly today, I am sticking with that promise, and even though these parts aren't really necessarily completely ready to go, they're close enough, and I can, like I said, touch up the rest of what needs to be done once we've assembled. So yeah, I'm gonna move, we're gonna end up with a lot of parts out here on the build mat, or so I'm gonna have to arrange them somewhere. So I'm gonna move these guys out of the way. Let's talk about these too while we're at it. This is the only part that I've found so far, these four that all match, that I believe I'm gonna end up doing some masking work on. So if I flip this over to the back side, you'll see there's some molded detail here that looks like it's meant to be like inner frame. And I can understand why they didn't make this a separate part, because this is a very thin piece here. So it would have been hard to make a separate gray part to be this and then have this outer bit snap on the outside of it. Although they did that pretty much everywhere else on the kit. So in order to make this more consistent with what I think the rest of the kit looks like, I'm actually going to mask off like the outer white frame around this part that should probably be inner frame, and then I'm gonna spray that with either the gunmetal or the light bronze once we see where it goes on the kit and what other inner frame is around it. So the nice thing about this is these four parts only snap on with two pegs, right here and right here, and they'll be easy to, again, take off. So we're gonna go ahead and do the assembly today, as I had said, and then probably pretty much as soon as we're done with the assembly, I'll pull these four parts back off and do the masking and painting and then put them back on. So that is one little note for myself that I'm gonna do that down the road. What else we got? The other thing you probably haven't seen yet, in fact I'm sure you haven't seen yet, is these parts. All of these transparent green. Let's see, here is one of the weapon effects parts. So these started out as this color of plastic, and I've decided, probably across the entire kit, I coated them with a bluish, purplish, pearlescent clear paint. I don't have the bottle right here with me to show you, but if I catch this in the light just right, you might notice, here we'll zoom in, that it's got a little bit of a bluish purplish tint to it, depending on how we look at it in light. And I think that's going to go well with the color scheme of the rest of the kit. So all of the transparent green like this, including those effect parts eventually, I'm going to do that treatment with, just to give it a little bit more visual interest. All right, let's get these guys out of the way. And I'm going to leave all of those sitting here on the build mat just to keep them from being piled up, because like I said, some of them have a little bit of the panel line fluid that is still drying. It's been drying for, I don't know, about an hour and a half. So it's probably good, but I'm going to be careful when I touch them, just in case. And we have instructions, which I probably should follow, even though we've built this once already. This part we're not building today. We're starting probably with this here. And I'm not sure if I want to keep the instructions on the table here or off here on the side on my stand. I think for now we'll keep them here on the table, just so that I'm not always looking off to the side. But we'll see how it goes. And all of the rest of the parts are here in our plastic bin. Let's see if I can get you, yeah. So these are all of the painted parts. And I think you've probably seen all the colors by now. I guess the only ones that I painted yesterday that are different, that you hadn't seen yet, are these, which are the light bronze SMS metallic. It's a very similar tone to the dark bronze, only lighter. Imagine that. So I'm gonna keep that off to the side here, and I'm gonna have to rummage through there and find the parts as we need them. And hopefully I've worked with these parts enough now, having done the painting and such, that I'll be able to look at them in the instructions and remember which color they are and pull them out fairly quickly. But we'll see how it goes. As mentioned previously, there are a lot of parts in this kit. And of course, I'm going to be careful as I pull these out that I'm not, when I'm shuffling the parts around in the bins here, I don't want to scratch the paint finish on any of them, since they all came out so very nice. And I can already tell that some of these light bronze I'm going to have to just pull out and maybe pile up over here, because there are way too many of them, especially these larger ones. And they're going to be hard to sort through over there in the bin. All right, so this is the other one we need for now. And we're about to find out how the paint is going to affect the fit of these parts. Because one thing we noticed when we were snap building is that they fit together fairly tightly. And so the concern was that once we got some paint on them, it was going to become a problem as far as the fit. So I'm being extra careful here and sort of checking this as I press this together to see how they fit. It seems like they're going to probably be okay. We'll see as we go. These fit in here. So we have that nice little gold detail. I don't know if we want, maybe we'll start with the camera zoomed in about at this level, and we'll see how that goes, because then you can see some of the detail better as we go. All right, this gold piece came out so good. I like this a lot. Okay. And we're gonna need, what? Those are probably dark bronze. And I have a lot of parts like this, so I don't remember. I think they were this size. Yeah, that seems correct. after having painted the light bronze, it came out darker than I thought. So, like, I'm not sure if we can tell. I need something for pointing with here. This piece right here is dark bronze, and this bit down here is light bronze, and just looking at it here under the light at my build desk, it does not look that much different. Maybe if they were right next to each other, we would notice more of a difference in the tone. I may have put the light bronze on a little bit too thick, and ended up with it being a darker shade than what I had originally planned. That snapped together nice and tight. That's not coming back out, which is fine, we don't need it to. So yeah, you can see that gold bent detail up through there, that's nice. I didn't talk yet about the blue, the two shades of blue either, so this is something I'll point out when we get there, I think, so that I can show you what I mean. But there were a couple of, I wouldn't say problems, but the lighter shade of blue painted differently than I had originally planned, and then it did when I was testing. So I ended up having to put more layers of that paint on the silver undercoat than I had wanted to, and it came out probably a little bit darker, more similar to the darker blue shade than what I wanted it to be. And so I've done a little bit of work on that to try to add some color separation. I'll show you that when we get there. Those two parts, probably also dark bronze, I think. Are those these? Yeah, I think they are. And you fit in there like that, is that correct? I think so, but getting it lined up is a little tricky. Or is this the other side? Let's see. Nope, definitely this side. Yeah, so there's a little groove here that this has to slide down into, and I'm afraid of scratching the paint. Let's be careful. There we go. You can already tell I'm gonna need my favorite building tool, which is a toothpick, to just kind of help nudge a couple of these parts into place. Nice. All right, next. Yep, way too many of these light bronze parts. So as we go along, it's very likely that more and more of these are just gonna get piled up over here on my desk to spread them out so we can find the ones we need. There's one of them. And here's the other. Now, these only fit one way. They're actually not the same on both sides. So I believe we want the longer angle toward the top. So this one goes on this side, and this one goes over here. That is this part. And then our first look at the aluminum, which came out so nice. All right, this angle goes toward the bottom. I'm being super careful to look at the double check the instructions and make sure before I put big pieces like this together that I've got everything that goes in between them already in place, because separating these back out without damaging the paint finish would be impossible. So, note to myself, do not make a mistake and miss a piece or anything like that, because fixing it does not seem like a happy time. All right. That's looking good. So here's our first of the light blue parts. And probably now I can explain what I was talking about earlier. Here, just for example, in comparison, is one of the dark blue parts. So on my original paint testing, here it is. This was the dark blue and this was the light, right? So this is like this color and this was like this color. However, once I painted this, it came out a bit darker than the test. And so what I decided to do is I went over, I'm not sure if you can kind of see the edges shining. I dry brushed a little bit of silver enamel. Actually, I think it's officially aluminum. Yeah, it's this Model Master aluminum. I dry brushed that over just the lighter blue parts, which helped to enhance the lightness, the lighter tone, just enough to give the amount of color separation that I was after originally that kind of went away. Based on how I ended up painting them. Alright, this should only fit one way, correct? Yes. And that's an extremely tight fit. Maybe I didn't press this all the way in. Nope, it's just a tight fit. Alright, I can already feel my fingers getting a little bit oily, so I'll be right back. I'm gonna get those hand wipes. Because the last thing I want to do is have finger oils mess up the nice metallic finish on these paints. There we go. I'd forgotten this piece was blue, which is the darker blue, so we can actually see the light and the dark blue right next to each other already. Where do I get this placed in? Here. And these are the ones I'm most concerned about. All these, there are a lot of parts in this kit that have like pegs, multiple fairly small and flimsy looking pegs that fit very tightly into the space that they're designed to go. And so now that I have layers of paint on those things, I want to make sure that I am careful and I'm not breaking those when I try to press them into place. Alright, so that one was gold. I don't remember what color that one is. It was the dark bronze. So, I mean, maybe I should have gone through and pulled out the parts and tried to place them in order based on the instructions to save time here with this process, but like, given that there's so many parts, I feel like that would have been hard to do. So as we go along, it should get faster because I will have fewer parts to go and find, fewer parts left over, right, to sort through. But for now, you'll have to bear with me as I locate all these parts as we need them. That looks nice. All right, again, I'm gonna try real hard to press this into place without scratching the paint. I have an idea. Let's use a Q-tip because that definitely won't scratch the paint. Nice. Okay. And this fits in here. Like so. And now I think we have those two, and then this one here. Does the order matter? It says the big piece first. Yeah, that should be fine because it won't get in the way of those. Cool. All right, so this is my first time seeing the pearl white next to the aluminum, right? So we've got a little bit of the aluminum like showing through this gap here. I was sort of hoping that the separation between those two colors would be a little bit more prominent, like here and there. Probably under these very bright lights, the pearl white is shining a little bit more and looking more like the silver than it will under regular lighting. But I still think it looks pretty good, so I'm happy with that. Ooh, gotta be careful with this one. This is one of those examples I was talking about earlier of a piece that has these very small pegs that are going to have trouble. I'm actually going to scratch some of the paint off of this one with my fingernail, if I can, just to make sure it fits a little bit nicer. It also goes down at a very strange angle into the gap here that it's meant to fit into. So getting that lined up and snapped in is going to be a little bit tricky to do without damaging parts or scratching paint. Yep, let's actually do a little bit of surgery on it to make sure it fits better. That should work. Yeah, that seems better. I can press it down. So I kind of reversed the color scheme, at least on this part of the backpack. From the original design, it was the dark blue was the main color that they used, like for the main outer armor here on the backpack. And then they had white for some of the trim pieces, like these blue ones that I'm holding right now. And I reversed that basically because the goal was to make the white the most prominent tone as far as the outer layers of this design. Will you fit? Yes, very good. All right, make sure my hands stay clean because I really don't want to mess up these metallics. They're very nice looking. What's next? Those guys. There's one of them. The other one over here? No. There it is. Yes, I did paint this. If you go back to look at the last couple of streams, there's some, I did some painting on stream, I did most of it off stream. But yeah, these are, all the metallics are SMS brand lacquers painted over a gloss black base. And then like this pearl white is a E3 lacquer color. I think the blues are as well. I have the bottles over there. I double check, but I use mostly E3 paints as for my solid colors, and I have been trying, or I typically use Gaia Notes metallics, but decided on this project to try the SMS brand ones for the first time, and they've been really good, so I might use them again. We'll see. All right, here's the next guy. This one came out really nice too. And we need this and this. Yeah, I've been working on it on stream for a couple of weeks now, I guess. And I decided to go ahead and do some assembly today on the backpack parts because I have them painted. The rest of the mobile suit, I still have to sand and wash and prep those and then paint them, all of those parts. So it's gonna be a little while before we have the whole project completed, but I was getting antsy to see some of this put together and to see how the color scheme is working out. So I decided to go ahead and kind of skip ahead instead of painting everything else to go ahead and start some assembly today and give us all a sneak peek at what it's going to look like. Does that go that way or does it flip over? I think it goes this way. Yeah. This has been a bit of a different project for me as well, because typically I paint the inner frames of my mecha kits not in metallics, just in flat, like grays and that sort of thing. I'm not typically a metallic inner frame kind of guy, but the way that this design looked and the fact that it came with a pre-built inner frame for the mobile suit itself that has a bunch of metal parts already on it, decided to paint the rest of the plastic to look metallic for the inner frame. And overall, I think I'm pretty happy with how it's going, or how it's come out so far. You know what? This is gonna not be used for a while, so I'm gonna set it off to the side while we work on this other larger section. So these are, I think, the same on both sides, so I don't have to worry about figuring out which one goes on which side. Yeah, so for those watching the stream like for the first time, or you didn't catch some of the other earlier bits, the process for this has been, as is typical for most of my builds, we snap built the whole thing because I like to see the kit all together to make decisions about color schemes and that sort of stuff. And then I disassembled it. And while I disassembled it, or during the disassembly process, is usually when I look at, try to figure out what colors I want things to be. And I sort the parts out into different piles as I'm doing the disassembly to denote what color I'm going to paint each group. Then I do all the painting, and then they're here and ready to be put back together. Oh, I'm looking in the wrong spot for these. I thought they were blue, but they're not. They're pearl white. Alright, so I think we should press this in here first before putting it on there. Sure, let's go with that. Overall, the fit of most of these pieces has still been pretty good, even after adding the layers of paint. I mentioned earlier I was concerned about how everything was going to fit back together because it was kind of a tight fit just when we were doing the snap build. But it has not been terrible so far. Hopefully that continues. So these go on here. And this one does not want to line up correctly. Come on, there we go. All right, keep my hands clean. Let's see, these are gold, I think, if I remember correctly, and those are blue. Right, and I have multiple of this shape in a couple different sizes, so let's just grab them all and then I can figure out which ones go where. All right, and there's our gold bits. That's a tight fit. Yeah, that part felt like it was about to break as I was pressing it into place, so let's be real careful with the other one. All right, I think that these two are the smaller ones. Yeah, they must be. And are they the same left and right? I believe so. I'll put this one over here. All right, this is going to be tricky as well because maybe I should trim these pegs back just or shave them down just a little bit to make them fit better, but it'll be fine. But pressing these on, it's going to be interesting because they do have a very sharp edge up top here as well. So like, I'm hurting my fingers. Alright, that one looks good. This one still needs a little bit of work. Ouch. There we go. I found a use for a random little small pack of Post-it notes that was sitting next to my desk. Perfect. Similar to those fin parts, I have 4 of these little vent shapes as well in 2 different sizes, 2-inch of 2 different sizes. And it looks like I need the bigger ones. Yeah, I think so. Ooh, that's a fingerprint. Oh, it's fine. It was not in the paint finish, it was separate. Okay. I'm trying to remember. I really hope I took a before picture of this when it was just the plastic assembled. I knew I took some reference photos for myself so that I would be able to look back and see where the parts fit if I needed to. But I don't think I took like a nicely lit before photo, and now I'm wishing I did because I would like to compare that to the after photo that we'll get sometime later today. Finding that fourth one was tricky, So again, we have 2 small and 2 large vent covers. Let's see, they go only a certain way too, because they've got this little notch cut out of them. So that has to go towards the upper side, I think, of this. Yeah, that seems right. Same with these probably, right? Yeah. And then those little tiny details, which are, I remember, gold. These were, yeah, I guess you can see them on camera. They were incredibly annoying to deal with as far as like sanding and putting on skewers for painting and such, because they're so small and fragile. And those are the 2 bigger ones. There's 2 here that are even smaller. Right, and so now I've got to try to put these in here without breaking them. They do only fit one way, right? So this one must be the one for this side, because it bends to match the notch that's cut into this piece. All right, carefully. Cool. So the other large one goes over here. And then the 2 small ones again have, let's see, this one must fit here. Yikes. That's gonna be tricky. Ah, come on. I'm gonna take a break from that one and try this other one first. All right, I got that one. One last try over here. So I figured out if you press it in at like a sort of angle, not that angle. Wow, this one's gonna be trouble. There we go. All right, I feel like that was the hardest part of the whole build for today. Probably putting those 4 parts on. So everything else is great from here on out. It'd be really cool if I could remember what color I painted these 2 parts right here. They're definitely one of the metallics. but I cannot find them. They were probably the dark bronze. Yeah? This is more of the light bronze. I found them. I was wrong. They were gunmetal. All right, you go on this side. Actually, now looking at where they go, I'm glad that I decided to paint them gunmetal. Because they look like an extension of like this main inner frame bit that's holding all of these thrusters. That's probably why Past Me decided to paint them that color. Good job, Past Me. All right, now we need this part back. This big guy here. And we can put these two together like so. Question mark? Yes. So that just slides on there. Yep, I gotta say, I'm quite happy with how this is looking. Awesome. All right. So now we work on the back side of this lower section of this whole assembly, I think. Is that correct? Oh, I'm trying to put it above. It goes below that silver detail. That makes a lot more sense. Continue to keep my hands clean. It's weird on these light blue parts that I did the little bit of silver dry brushing on. I think that I did that yesterday. However, I can feel that the paint is still not completely dry, like the enamel silver. It's getting a little bit on my fingers, so I'm okay with that, with rubbing a little bit of it off on my fingers as I assemble these, but I'm trying to keep it off my fingers so that I don't spread it to other parts. Where are, yeah, there they are, these two. All right, and now we need this one, which again, I have to be careful with this one because some of this panel line fluid might still be slightly wet. I think it's mostly dry by now. And if I smear it a little bit, it's fine. I can always clean it up later. All right, so these little light details go somewhere up here. Oh, I remember. They fit like onto here, don't they? Is it that way or is it this way? It's this way. Yeah, so I remember when we snap built this, now these two pieces just kind of sit very loosely here until you snap this other part on to hold them in place. And so it's kind of tricky because you want to make sure that you've got them lined up and that they don't move out of the way while you're placing this piece. I'm going to be even more careful because, like I said, I don't want to touch the areas of this piece that are possibly still wet with paint. That bit, as I warned myself, has fallen out. Actually, you know what? Let's work on one side at a time. So we'll get this in place, enough to hold that part. There we go. And then we can line the other one up and do the same over here. There we go. All right, how is this joint here where it can articulate? It's a little bit tight, but it'll work. All right. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. There's a couple of little details. These little things that I'm pointing at here with the toothpick, that detail appears in a few other spots on this backpack design, and I'm thinking about using this very bright green fluorescent paint just to pick out those, almost like they're sort of aircraft landing indicator lights or something like that. We'll see. Once I get the whole thing built, this segment at least built, I will look at it more closely and decide if I want to do that or not. Because that's always something I can just add once the whole thing is put together. Just carefully paint that on. This is another of those parts that's going to be hard to press into place, so we're going to use the post-it note pad again, because the area that I have to press down on has very sharp edges. There we go. The idea for the fluorescent green on there, is that what you're thinking is good? Because, like, yeah, that kind of feedback is useful. I think it'll look good. I'm gonna look at it again and see, like I said, once I have it built. I think it'll be good. Alright, this song is weird and annoying me, so I'm gonna skip it. Yeah, there was enough other blue on the kit that I thought I wanted to go with something different, so that's why I ended up I looked through the piles of paint that I have and I saw the green and I thought, hey, it could work. I've now completely broken the music. Awesome. Let's do this. All right, cool. All right, now we need finally these other two bits that I pulled out earlier that we've been holding on to here. Try not to hurt my fingers. All right, see this part, I noticed when I was snap building as well, I might come back and just put a dab of glue later on, because this presses down here, but it leaves a tiny gap right there between the inner frame part. It won't stay down, so this probably needs just a dab of glue and then held down in place like that. I think that was the only fit issue that we noticed when I was snap building the kit before. But yeah, that'll be easily fixable later on. All right, turn the page. These tail segments here on the original design, like all of this was dark blue and then these were white, and that bugged me actually. I looked at that and thought, well, that's not great. So I'm glad now that they're the same color as the majority of the rest of the outer structure here. All right, so these pointy bits go in the ends of these wings, and I believe that they're not symmetrical. They only are supposed to go a certain way. And that's this way. Pretty sure. Does that seem right? Yes. So I've made a terrible mistake. This segment up here is upside down. Yeah, it is, because this white part should definitely be up here on the top. That is not good, guys. Okay, we can fix it though. Don't worry. We can fix it. Here we go. I'm gonna fix it in the... I'm gonna make sure that we disassemble as little as possible though. So what's gonna have to happen is I'm gonna have to separate that just enough to slip this out, right? Or I could disassemble this top bit, this part here. That seems harder actually. So we'll do it this way. Man, and I finally got these just right in place, but that's okay. I really don't want to use the part separator, but I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna do it so carefully. There we go. All right, since these come out easily, I'm gonna take these out so that I don't continue impaling myself in the hand. We're just gonna work this white part up so very carefully. So here's an interesting question then, for myself, I guess. Am I more likely to make a mistake like this when I'm streaming a build versus just building by myself? And I think probably the answer is yes, I'm more likely to make a mistake while I'm streaming because I'm thinking about other things besides just like being careful and double checking things. Probably. That probably contributes to mistakes being made. Very carefully. There we go. Don't worry, that loud sound was fine. Actually, it was. Okay, that is good. Probably, unfortunately, these two white little covers over the engine housings here are going to have to come out as well because they're blocking what I want to separate here. Yeah, sad. Yeah, getting to those is going to be tough. All right, so let's start over here on this side with what I know I can do here. Very good. And then we have to get these blue bits off, which we can do like so. Very good. I really want to pry this white part from this edge, but I'm afraid of gouging that aluminum piece right there, that very bright silver. So I'm not going to do that. Instead, we'll work this out of the way, like that. And same thing here. Here I was thinking as I started today that this was going to be a quick stream, right? Because it's just assembling stuff, it's easy to do. Instead, I've made a big mistake in order to make the stream more interesting or something. Very carefully, nice. And the next spot is probably up in here. I can probably get this with this toothpick. Careful. Very good. All right, so my advice to you is never make this mistake. But if you do, don't freak out, because everything is fixable, pretty much. How do I get a better angle on that? Probably like this. Yep. Yep. All right, we've done it. And now this whole thing can just slide out and flip over. See, what problem? There was never any problem. Right, however, my hands have gotten sweaty and the sweatshirt can come off. Alright, now let's fix it back up. Just looking at the parts we took off to make sure that I'm not forgetting anything, putting it back together. Fortunately, this panel line stuff held up well here. The part that was panel lined more than other things was the one I just had to like touch a whole lot. So I guess it's dried pretty well. These go in here, don't they? Yes, you go on this side. No, this way on that side. Okay. This should have probably been the plan all along, like the instructions when they tell you to put these parts in. They should have just been like, put those two parts together most of the way, and then just slide this in like so, and sandwich it in place. Because that's a whole lot easier than trying to balance it while putting that large part into place. There we go. I don't think the order for the rest of this assembly matters. Just snap everything back together. Alright, and this one goes on this side. Wait, nope, this side. Alright, so slight detour. Now we're nearly back on track. You go over here. This piece down here doesn't seem like it's wanting to be in the proper orientation. Let's see if I can fix that. I don't think it was lined up correctly when we put it together. Or it could be that flipping this other piece over actually caused me to catch that and push it out of place. That's probably more likely. All right, now we're back. Nothing bad ever happened. See? It's all fine. But before I scratch anything, I'm putting that part separator away. All right, so there's our pearl white spaceship sort of thing that we've made. And there's a very large, I'm going to set this off to the side. Actually, I'm just going to put it up here. There's a very large inner structure for the next bit that we have to put together next. So I'm missing one more of these somewhere. And I don't see it here on the desk, so it must be over here. There it is. Why does this kit have so many parts? The instructions get this part wrong as far as sort of depicting these two parts here that sandwich onto this bit. They've like rendered the wrong piece but it's pretty obvious when you look at it to figure out how it should go together. I really want to put these together, but no, not yet. Because this goes in here first. And then something else goes down here. I don't remember what color I painted that. Is it gold? It's probably gold. Yeah, I found them. They're these little tiny detail bits, and I think they only fit in one way. And it's not that way. Let's turn you around. Or is it this way? It's probably that way. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Let's do that. Okay, now can I put these together? Yes. I dropped that tiny gold part. Now I have to find it. Hey, it's going good, except I just dropped the tiny part that I have to find. Hold on a second, I'll be back. There it is, I got it. Man, this very boring, uneventful stream is full of catastrophes today so far. I wouldn't say catastrophes, but like dropped parts, putting pieces in backwards and having to go back and fix things. But we've solved all those problems and the end result is looking pretty great so far. So it's all worth it. All right, these go in here. Was that actually moving the camera? Yeah. I was applying so much force pushing those parts together that I was shaking the desk enough to move the camera. I don't think that's ever happened before. I was like just a little bit concerned about this kit being able to hold a pose because it's quite large and heavy. But now, having just assembled some of these things and realizing how tight the fit has become in a few of these joint areas now that we've added paint, I'm no longer concerned about it holding a pose. It'll be fine. Yeah, some of these parts are super tight fit. Let's not damage the instructions. There we go. Alright, we need things that look like this now. One more somewhere. It's not in there, so it must be out here. There it is. And these just immediately go together. Interesting. Alright, I think we need these big parts now. And I'm going to be super careful to orient all of these things in the correct direction as I put them together, so that we don't have to do extra disassembly like we just did a little while ago. This goes in here. Correct? Yes. And then one of these goes back here. And then one of these goes on the front side over here. Like that? Yes. That's another super tight fit. And then I think we can put this together. Again, double checking, because I don't want to disassemble anything. Alright, that looks right. my fingers are actually going to be like a bit, especially my thumbs are going to be sore later today, I think, from this build because of pressing down on sharp edges to fit parts together. I don't know if the microphone is picking up those snapping noises, but like these things are snapping together super tightly, which is good, right? It's going to be solid, but also just making sure that there's no gaps is a little bit challenging. Okay, now there's all kinds of mechanical detail that fits into the outside of these frame bits, which I remember from the snap build was very cool. So now that it's painted, it's probably going to be even better. First of all, those two parts, and then the very tiny, those are gold, I'm pretty sure, those little round bits. Yep. Let's be sure not to lose those. In fact, I should just put them in right now before I lose them. So they just go up here. Not sure how far they press in. This is sticking out just a little above the edge there. I think that's correct. I think it's designed to be that way. If it becomes a clearance thing for another part that goes on over the top of it later, I will adjust. But I think for now I'm going to insert these and assume that they're meant to just stick up slightly above the edge there. Yeah, this is doing the same thing on this side, although that one's a little more flush. Yeah, there we go. That's pretty good. So now, like, they made this a separate piece, this little gold detail right here. I'll zoom in for you. And this exact same thing is here molded, and it just got painted the gunmetal of the frame part here. So like the perfectionist in me wants to now go back and paint that, but I'm gonna resist that urge for this build because the plan was to do it without a lot of extra detailing work. Just basically paint what was here and not spend months and months detailing things, and so I'm gonna stick with that. All right, now that we won't lose those parts because they're never coming out of there again, we can continue on. So we're gonna need these, and I don't see any more of those here, so they must be still in the box. And then those ones I know are the gold ones. Right, and these rounded gold bits here only fit one way. So I gotta be sure that I do not put them on backwards. Because again, once they go in here, they're never coming back out. I'm gonna continue pressing them in place with this Q-tip. Because at least it saves my fingers and it prevents scratching the paint. We'll zoom in one notch for you guys, since we're working with kind of smaller parts at the moment. That way if you are watching and trying to see what's going on, maybe you get a better view of everything. Is that wrong? That's the backwards? Yeah, this is the correct side. Why do you not fit there? It's not that one, right? No, definitely not that one. It's one of these two, which are the same, so either one should work. However, neither one of them really wants to line up correctly. There we go. Okay. Need a new Q-tip because I've made the end of that one so ragged that I'm afraid I'm gonna catch tiny fabric fibers underneath the part and they're gonna be stuck there forever. Alright. So that one is done. This one, this side goes here. I have, in my batch of prepared parts here, I have, of course, all the parts for the backpack, which is what we've been working on. I also have all of the parts painted and ready for the two weapons. I was originally going to build those today as well. However, I think, based on the current time, and having that slight detour earlier to fix that problem, and that took up some time, I think that probably I'm going to save the weapon build for some time in the future. So we'll finish up this backpack, and that will probably do it for today. It'll still probably be another little while here because the backpack has quite a bit more to go. So, but hopefully we can get that done before we're done today. That is the new goal. And actually, once I get past this current little thing that we're working on here, it should get a bit faster. These are all like very small little tedious parts to press into place, and I'm not gonna complain about them because I think they look phenomenal. Like the final thing here looks really, really good once all of these little details are in here. So it's definitely worth it. However, it is kind of slow going. I just realized these round bits that I'm putting on right now have like a little notch on the underside, so they only actually fit one way. Like they fit on one side versus the other of this part. And I did not notice that earlier when I was putting that other one in place, and I think, yeah, I think I got one of these in the wrong spot. Do you have the notch? Yes, you're good. So it's this one here is wrong. So let's see if I can carefully remove it without scratching anything. I believe I can, because like since it didn't have the notch in the right spot, it wasn't flush down against the surface of that, and so that made it easy to remove. All right, so now let's more carefully look at the parts and put the correct one in the correct place. It's amazing how the pieces fit better when you're putting them in the right spot. All right, there we go. This probably still could press down a little. Yeah, it snapped in place. What about the others? Are you good? You could probably use a little extra force. All right, and then these little silver bits go down here, and it's obvious which direction they go because they only fit one way. I have like Q-tip fuzz all over my fingers. What's next from Zero Gravity? I don't know. I haven't heard anything. Right, I'm glad they did the recolor though, because that's what this is. I mean, not that it matters because I painted it, right? But I missed the first version of this kit. I did not buy it, and then it sold out everywhere. And I heard it was good, and I went to try to get a copy, and it was, you know, obviously very expensive. So as soon as the recolor was announced, I jumped on that right away because I knew that I wanted to build one. So yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see if they come up with something new, and when that is and what it is. But I mean, for a first kit, this one is really, really good, I think. All right, so these fit in here. I'm being careful now not to get the little fuzz from the ends of these Q-tips that got mangled while we were using them to press things in place. I don't want to get that fuzz caught in underneath any of these parts, because that will annoy me forever if I see a little piece of fuzz in underneath something and I can't get it out. Yeah, so all of that detail picked out in different colors of metallics is pretty good. I like it. That turned out nice. Yeah, I mean, so as far as shipping, I'm not an expert in shipping, right? But I understand that things got slow because of the pandemic and backup supports and all that stuff. I thought we were mostly beyond all that at this point. It seems like maybe we're not just yet. Is that the part we need? Yeah, it is. Okay. I mean, maybe it is, right? If you manufacture scarcity, then you can increase prices. So yeah, if you're a conspiracy theorist, maybe you think that they're doing it on purpose. Maybe they are. I don't know. From a business point of view, though, like, you also want to make as many of your product as you can sell. And so, you know, I think if they were able to make and ship more copies of certain kits, especially like that MGEX Strike Freedom, which I think is probably going to be very popular. I don't plan on getting it myself, but I can see it being popular. So, like, why would they, if they were able to make and ship more of those, why would they not do that? I think it would make sense to do it if you could. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt for now and assume that there's a real reason why getting those shipped over here has been tricky. All right, so here's our first look at these recolored vents that have the dark metallic outside, then the gold in the little detail there that used to be red in the mold from the kit, and then the effect part inside. I think that's going to look good. There's a bunch of these around in different places, especially on the mobile suit, that have that same detail, and we'll use that same color scheme for them. Yeah, maybe they're trying to get a better deal on some of their shipping contracts. That could be as well. And if they're willing to hold out and not ship things in an attempt to get a better deal, that would be bad for us, for sure. But on the other hand, like for me, I have sitting here behind me on that shelf that you guys can't see because it's down below the camera angle. a backlog of kits, and it's not a huge backlog, but it's like I spend so much time on each individual kit that it's like enough to, you know, to take a lot of my time. And so I'm not in any huge rush to get new kits, given that I have all of those still to build. So I'm okay with just being patient and seeing what happens with new releases, and if they become available at some point, I'll buy them, probably. Alright, I still have Q-tip fuzz on my fingers. Build some of your backlog, man. These dark vents look really nice with the white pearl outer armor. That I am pleased with. This is my first time seeing a lot of these color combinations actually, you know, put together, sitting here next to each other, were real. Yeah, I do the same thing, right? What I do is I tend to snap build a kit, and while I'm snap building it, I have plans. You know, I think about, oh, I should do this and that and whatever, but then I don't have time, so it remains snap built, like put back in the box, with a plan in my head for how I want to paint or detail it or kit bash it with something else or whatever. And I have, I don't know, probably at least a dozen things in that state right now. That's why with this judge, I decided as we were snap building it on stream that I wanted to just go ahead and paint it immediately, because it would have been easy to say, oh, I have this idea, let's do something else first, and then, you know, I might never get back to it, right? So the plan with this one was, let's just go ahead and paint it immediately, because that forces me to actually finish a project. Actually finishing a project is pretty fun, it turns out, so maybe I'll do more of it. Alright, let's make sure to put this on the correct way. This is another spot right here where there's that detail we talked about earlier that's going to get some, probably the fluorescent green paint treatment in it. So you can ignore the fact that it looks kind of ugly right now. I didn't clean it up properly when I was doing the panel line wash earlier. And I did that on purpose because I know I'm going to be touching that up anyway. That doesn't go that way, it goes this way, right? Yeah. Now I don't know, when we snap built this kit earlier on, I did not actually press these pieces that we're working with here completely into place because I was afraid of not being able to get them back out. So I'm not sure if they snap in place or what exactly happens here. However, I can already see that this is, yeah, this obviously has to press down over a little indentation down there, and if it doesn't make it all the way, it will stick out in a strange fashion. So let's make sure that that doesn't happen. There we go. Cool. That one was much easier than the one on the other side. Still a little bit of work to get it to fit and be pressed down correctly on both sides, but that worked out. All right, do the easy one on this side first and then the harder, I think. That one's stuck to my finger. No problem there. Move this out of the way. Two new kits on the 17th. Which ones? All right, so we have those little blue details in place now. What's next? Oh cool, there's a Streamlabs bot still trying to mod my chat. Sorry about that, and I will turn it off after. I thought it had been turned off. Switch to something different, so it should not have access anymore. Interesting. So like old school kits. I wonder how the build will be. Yeah, don't worry, that bot will get kicked out very shortly after this stream ends. I don't want to really stop because like I'm trying to finish this and also finish the stream at a normal-ish time so I can go have lunch. But I'll take care of the bot later on. So, like myself, I'm, you know, being, I guess I can call myself an old guy, right? I'm kind of an old guy at this point. When I was a kid, my family lived in South Korea for a while, and I would go to the model shop there that was near my house, and I actually bought a few of those like original Gunpla kits. It wouldn't have been from 1983, I'm not quite that old, but from like late 80s, early 90s. So some of my first building was kits from that era. Then I got away from building for a long time and just back into it, you know, like, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 years ago or so. And I was surprised at the level of quality and detail, because I had I remembered what I had to deal with back then. This little hinge area here is really not wanting to snap into place. And I remember when we did the snap build, this was a tough, very tight fit already before paint. Fortunately, it'll be easy to come back in. I think I'm about to just skip past it and not worry about it right now. It'll be something that my future self can definitely fix as I go back over what we've done here, and just tighten that up. So yeah, we're gonna leave it like that for now in the interest of time. I see what the problem is. Maybe. Yeah, I wasn't paying close attention and I used 2 of the same part instead of the opposite half. So if I actually just swap this out, that fit will be much better. Yeah, just like that. That's another one of the joints in this kit that once you pose it, it's never moving out of place now that it's been painted. So yeah, I'll be sure when I finish this, I'll just put it in a pose and probably just leave it that way forever. Because it is going to have a lot of extremely tight joints. I mean, yeah, you're not wrong about that. Most mecha model kits, at least, like even the ones that are, you know, master grade style or something like that with a lot of parts, I could probably, you know, just go ahead without instructions and cut parts off the runner and almost always know where everything goes, right? You can look at a piece and just figure it out because they are all so similar. All right, let's see. So this one goes this way. All right, now we're getting into the time when I have the dilemma that I really want to finish this part of this build. However, I'm also getting hungry for lunch. Swords, weapons on a Gundam? Sort of, yeah. But also, like, this is not a Gundam, right? It's a, it's a battle machine. The instructions even say right there. Yeah, don't confuse it for a Gundam. Because they don't want to be sued. I'm having a fit problem on the back of this weapon where it attaches on here. Good GoBots, yeah. Transformers, that's what they are. All right, what color did I paint that? It was gold. Did I paint it blue? I think I did. Yeah, I did. All right, let's turn this out of the way so I can actually see what I'm doing. Hey, that looks nice with that blue detail down there. Past Me was smart. Good job, Past Me. I really wish I could get this to fit together correctly without damaging my fingers. So many sharp edges on this kit. All right, what we got? These white parts now. How do you fit on here? Just like this? Oh, actually, once I have these on here, I might be able to press that fit together better. It'll give me an area to press on that won't hurt my fingers. So let's go for it. Yeah, that's actually a lot better. Cool. Still not perfect. So now we need these and what else? Those I think I painted gold. I did. So I'm gonna probably mostly use the decals that came with the kit. They are, I think they'll work. They're kind of a bluish purple. And I think they'll be fine, but I probably won't use them in the locations where they're called for in the instruction. Well, actually the instructions I don't think, have a decal guide anywhere, unless I missed it. I went back and looked for it the other day and didn't see it. But yeah, I will use them in places of my own choosing that makes sense with the new color scheme. They're purple-ish, but they're more blue than purple. Here they are on camera, right? And let's see. Yeah, so they're purple-ish compared to this, but I mean, they almost just look like a darker shade of blue. I think they'll be okay. Alright, so if anybody else has built this kit, or the first printing of it, because they're the same mold, let me know if you hurt your fingers as much as I've hurt my fingers pressing these parts together. Part of it is because of the extra layers of paint. The fit is much tighter, but like even the first time when we were snap building it, I remember my thumbs were sore because of all of the sharp edges. Right, so these pieces I'm putting on right now, we talked about this earlier, but it was quite a while ago when we were first getting the parts out at the beginning of the stream. These are the only ones that I'm probably going to take back off, and that'll be easy because they just snap on with these two little pegs right here. I'm going to take them back off and mask them because the insides of them right here have this, you know, like inner frame detail molded into them. And I would like to paint that one of the inner frame colors. I'll have to figure out which one. Probably the light aluminum silvery color. So yeah, I'll be popping those back off of there probably as soon as we're done with this stream, and then I'll mask those and paint those separately. I just temporarily scared myself into thinking I had lost two pieces, but here they are. This goes this way. That's much better. I was putting that in place thinking that doesn't look right at all, because it was wrong. All right, are we done yet? No, I'm so hungry. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so I replaced the red accents with gold. Most of the places where the original mold was red. So like this, the little ends of these weapons here became gold. Yeah, I built plenty of mostly aircraft models back in the day, you know, when they were not snap fit. So it is definitely a whole lot easier. All right, time for some big blue bits. Oh, I have these parts right over here. All right, now when we were doing the initial snap fit on this, I think I learned that... What did I learn? That it was easier to build this all out of order. It was easier to put these parts over the silver parts first. So yeah, we're gonna do that. Let's just get out all the remaining parts and put them here on the desk and then just put them together? Yeah, something like that. Yeah, so this works better if you put these in first and then you snap in the thing from behind. That's what we learned last week or whenever that was that we were snap fitting this thing for the first time. I think this was the first time I've seen this darker blue and the silver together. It looks really good. I think there's other spots on the mobile suit itself that this combination happens, so that's exciting. All right, cool. I did not press that in straight. And so now it is jammed up. Note to self, pay more attention. End stream now. Well, I mean, for me, the only reason to end stream now is just because I'm hungry. I don't have a huge interest or pay much attention to lottery sorts of things. It'd be really awesome if this piece would fit. There it goes. Alright, so with those four done, now we put the other pieces together. Like we put this in here and then we put this other piece on the back. I think that's how we did it last time, and it worked out. I mean, okay, yeah, fair point. Oh, I forgot to bend this back out. So there's this little pivoting attachment point here on the back of these, I guess we'll call them wing segments. It was so hard to pull that off when I was disassembling that I decided to just leave it. And I just painted, since it was going to be the same color anyway as the part it was attached to, I just painted them both together. But now I need to remember as I do this assembly to bend it back away so that it's in its correct orientation, so that when we go to plug these into the sides of those things, they'll fit correctly. These bits here were a little bit loose when we did the snap build, and so now with paint, they are perfect. One more. That one didn't want to line up correctly, but there we go. All right, what are we doing with these now? They go with like the fin part down away from the top of the weapon. So this way? Correct. So there's one side. Here's the other side. So we have like, yeah, you know what? Let's just, I was gonna call it there, but let's finish because what's left is fairly small. And it shouldn't take that long. It's a bunch of really small little parts. So that might be the only annoying thing about it, but I think we should be fine. It's just these little like claw sort of things that fit on the top of those bits that we just built. Hey, welcome. We're getting near the end of this backpack unit. Oh no, what happened with FedEx? Oh no. Yeah, so they leave the little note on your door and then you have to figure out what to do, right? Yeah, that's annoying. So this feels like a good time for a short public service announcement on behalf of FedEx drivers. I have a friend who worked for a while as a FedEx driver, and he told me that like he got yelled at so often by people for things that weren't his fault, right? He was just doing his job or following the rules that they make the drivers do. So it's cool to be mad at FedEx, but I would say try to be nice to your driver because it's most likely not their fault. I actually try, because of his stories that he's told me in the past, I try to be like super nice to FedEx and UPS, you know, any type of delivery driver, because I feel like there's probably a good chance that they're getting yelled at by people all day long when they're trying to deliver packages and people are, you know, upset that they're late or something happened or whatever. It's usually not those guys' fault. At least they're trying to resolve the problem. But yeah, I get that it's frustrating when you're waiting for something and it's not there. Well, that's the story they came up with, right? We misscanned it. Alright, these go here. No, not that way though, that would be totally backwards. This way. And I remember from our snap build of these that they were white back then, but they're blue now. These outer bits here up at the tip do not snap together perfectly well. So it's something to be careful of. Also, the pegs are very tiny, so I gotta be careful not to break anything. Yeah, and as I thought, with paint, the fit is better already because it tightens up this tiny peg up here. Yep, that'll work out okay, actually. This is one of the areas of the build that I was slightly concerned about. As far as fit, seems fine. Yeah, I mean, I always count on paint tightening things up. And if it tightens it up too much, you can always very carefully with a hobby knife just shave back a little bit of the layers of paint and make it work for yourself. Yeah, so FedEx has a secret list of people whose packages they always mess up. You didn't know that? You're on that list, probably. Yeah, what did you do to get on that list? Like, it must have been something, right? Alright, let's see. We're so close now. I can almost go eat lunch. Let's see, 4 of those, 4 of those, 2 of those. My voice is like going away. I've been doing this for longer than I wanted to. But it's fine. Let's finish. Alright. So So I need one of these, doesn't matter which side, right? Yeah, okay. This thing is symmetrical so far. So this goes on this side, and the one without the little attachy thing goes on the other side. Attachy thing, that's like the technical term? Just in case you were wondering. Yeah, I mean, I've said that before and been wrong. I'm fairly confident this time. So, you know, we're good. You missed it earlier where, so we were like, this unit here, we were like halfway through you build the top half of this and then it sandwiches inside of this. We were like halfway through building this back part of this thing and I realized that this was in upside down, right? So we were looking at the top of this and we were seeing the inner frame underside of this up here. So I had to like disassemble all of that to get it back apart. And I was super concerned that I was gonna scratch some of the paint, but fortunately, everything survived. So yeah, I know what I'm doing, really. I promise. All right, this piece really does not want to snap on here. So let's just break it. Come on. There we go. This one goes on the bottom, probably same fit. No, that one's not as tight of a fit. Well, at least make the most of it, right? Like find something fun to do instead, maybe? That sounds like a plan. So you want to sit by your front door so you're sure you don't miss them. Be like peering out the window. When they walk up to the door, you're already opening the door. Yes. Just stare at the window until they show up. Where's the other one of these? Here it is. So this looks like some sort of a mouth, right? It's got actual teeth, like here and there. Yeah. It's a dragon or something. I don't think I noticed that when we were building it before. Also, the teeth here on this inner frame part are another spot where, like, I'm trying to press these parts into place and I'm damaging my fingers because of all the sharp edges. This kit wants a blood sacrifice, I'm pretty sure. So far I've managed to not give it one. Alright, so those bits go up here. Like so. Nah, It's always worth sacrificing build experience at the expense of detail. Detail's good, man. If I have to have sore thumbs or bleed a little, it's all good. As long as I don't bleed on the kit. That would be terrible. I'd have to like take it all back apart again and paint it red or something. You know, to hide the blood stains. Alright, let's pivot these out of the way so that I have a spot where I can grab this to actually press this into place. Yeah? Yeah. There you go, weathering. All right, how do these go on here? Do I remember? Like, I have leftover parts on my table here, and we're not gonna use them right now, they're for weapons. So just ignore those. Does it matter which way? No, it doesn't. I've said that again. Again, it doesn't matter. Like, there's no left or right side here, these are both the same from one side to the other. However, this is gonna be tricky from the point of view that this wing wants to get in the way a bit of fitting this on here. Oh, I could just pivot it out of the way though. Yeah, let's do that. Everything moves. This kit's not supposed to have any weathering though, right? This is like a clean build this time, so we're trying to avoid weathering and bleeding as much as possible. Alright, this is a very large backpack unit, or maybe a spaceship. Yeah. I think the color scheme is a thumbs up for me. This is the first time seeing it kind of all together. Yes, it is a bat. It could be a bat as well. I'm not gonna play with the articulation too much right at the moment. Here's the other side. So you can see a lot of the metallics that made up the inner frame as well. And all the good detail. You could have done tons of hand detail painting on this if you wanted as well. I decided with this kit I was gonna just airbrush it and not do a lot of extra work that I would sometimes do. So that's how we've gotten to this point. Yeah, I'm happy with it. I can't wait to see the rest of it, but you know, for the mobile suit itself, I still have to prep and paint all of those parts before we can assemble those. So this was the little sneak peek at assembly, and then streams in the next few times that we stream. Yeah, it's looking good, isn't it? I like it a lot. Yeah, the next few streams are gonna have to go back to probably doing some part prep and painting and that kind of stuff as I get the parts ready for the mobile suit itself to get finished and assembled. So cool. Yeah, I'm happy with this. All right, and also I'm super excited because I get to go eat lunch now, and I've been hungry for like 45 minutes. So thanks for sticking around and watching, guys. And today's Friday, right? Have a good weekend. And next week, yeah, like I said, probably back to working on parts. Maybe we'll assemble the weapons because I do have the parts for those done and painted. So maybe we'll do that first thing on Monday, but then it'll be back to working on getting parts ready for the mobile suit itself to get them painted. So yeah, I mean, but lunch is important when you're hungry, man, and I'm quite hungry. So yeah, I'm gonna go eat lunch. I probably don't have anything good in the house to eat for lunch, but I'm gonna try to find something. Yeah, cool. Thanks guys for watching. Have a great weekend, and yeah, I'll be back on Monday, same time as usual, Monday morning. See ya.